Good morning, everyone. Laura Johnson here at IAMS. I'm really excited about today's webinar. Appreciate everyone taking time out of your day. I know your time's valuable. So really glad that you were able to take a little time out, though, to join us today. We've got the privilege of having Senior VP at SILAC, Carrie Freeburg, Head of Product Development um, and Marketing over there, joining us today. Got a really nice presentation put together for you guys as far as talking a little deeper about indexes, kind of what we can see for renewal rates, when we maybe will see some positive returns coming from some of these indexes, and just kind of some market trends. So we're also going to kind of touch on a couple sales ideas. We've all been seeing a lot of MYGA rates lately being very competitive, and how we can maybe transition some of those sales into index annuity sales. So with that, I'm going to just do a few intro slides here, and I will hand it over to Carrie. We've also got Molly here on the line, so as you're typing questions in, Molly and I will make sure we get those answered, or we can go through those with. So if you have any questions, be sure just to type those in, and we'll be sure to address those at the end or as they come up. So for those of you who don't know, Laura Johnson here, annuity sales team lead here over at IAMS. Been here on the sales team for about 7, going on 8 years. Worked on the admin side for 7 or 8 years as well. So if you ever need anything, feel free to reach out to me. First few things we're going to do is just talk about a couple incentive things we got going here at IAMS. This first one would be for anyone who is maybe considering joining IAMS, or maybe you just recently signed up with IAMS. This is something that's available for you. We call it our new producer bonus. As you can see on the screen, we've got 5 different tiers, all really geared toward marketing. Our goal with this is, off of those first few pieces of business that you write here with IAMS, that we can partner with you and kick back some money or some marketing to help you grow your business. We're in a partnership here, mutually beneficial relationship. So with your business, we want to support you by throwing back some marketing for you as well. As you can see, that can go from anywhere from helping pay for seminars, to giving you marketing reimbursement, to doing social media ads, Retirement Boss Radio, lead credits. So a lot of great things here. So if you're curious where you stand on this, give your marketer at IAMS a call. They can give you an idea of where you're standing, at what point your cutoff time comes. It does go for 6 months. So from the day you get contracted with us, first appointment, 6 months from then is when you have to qualify for this. After that, we do move you into a marketing reimbursement program. So for every 100,000 of indexed annuity premium you write with IAMS, we'll put $100 in a marketing reimbursement account for you. That's consistently just growing, carries over year to year. So you don't have to, it's not like you have to use it in the same year. So really great way for you to earn some marketing dollars, and that applies to the life side as well. So 100,000 of single premium life would be equivalent to $200 of marketing reimbursement. And then for every 10,000 of life target premium is $200 as well. So again, this is a way for us to really partner with you, and be able to go in on those marketing expenses with you as they come up. So if you're curious what's in your marketing balance, just email your marketer here at IAMS. We can get with accounting and get that number over to you. If you've been in the business any amount of time, referrals are important in your business. Well, they're equally as important in ours. So what we've done is we've built a referred producer program. So if you have got someone, a colleague that you're working, friend, family, colleague, anyone who you think could benefit from the services that we offer here at IAMS, I think it's a really great opportunity for us to kick back and just give you a little bit of override on their business without having to take on the risk of a downline agents. So as you can see on the screen, for like index annuity, 20 basis points, MYGA is 10 basis points, and you can see for life target and single premium life as well. We do pay this out quarterly, but I've seen some pretty large checks go out based on referrals. So a really great way for you to earn some extra dollars by just referring someone over here to IAMS. Our name, Insurance Agency Marketing Service. And service is our number one goal. If you've worked with IAMS for any amount of time, you've probably picked up on this. We're not looking to be the biggest IMO in the industry, but we are trying to be number one when it comes to service. That means starts with picking up the phone. You know that when you call our office, you're always going to get a live person. The reason we do that, besides that Steve and Charles are a little old school. That will never change either. But we want to be able to answer your questions when you have them. If I'm not available, there's 5, 8, 10 other marketers who can answer your questions as well, or get you your illustration, or as far as what we do on the new business side, when you're submitting business, what Amber and her team do from submission to commission support is amazing. Processing your business, following up on your business every 2 to 3 business days, chasing down those transfers for you. Our goal is to take as much as we can off your plate, put it on ours so that you can stay in the field doing what you do best. We also are on paperless contracting as well with insurance base. So pretty seamless process there as far as once you're in the system, really easy to add carriers anytime you need them. So um, that is something that we strive to be number one on, and I hope that we continue to do so. If you haven't been out to our website, as you can see on the screen, www.imsinc.com. A lot of great tools. I won't bore you, go through the whole thing, but what I will tell you is a couple key things. We've got where you can run your own illustrations. We do give you access to Annuity Rate Watch. For those of you who've been with us for a while, you remember our old rate book that we put together. Well, that's something we did away with. And instead, we've just given everyone access to Annuity Rate Watch through our website. So you can check out current rates. You can check out different products, all the details on products, just a few clicks. You can run your own, for the life side, be able to run your own quotes. Some of my favorite things are under the support tab. If you go under the support tab, you'll find a sales resource library. This is literally a library of a lot of resources for you all in the field, anywhere from client presentations, client PowerPoints. You got a client that says, what is long-term care? Well, there's a 12-page document, white paper in there that tells you everything you would need to know about long-term care. Same thing with index annuities or anything. There's financial calculators, fact finders, a lot of great information. Anything that you pull from that sales resource library, we can also brand for you as well in our creative department. So if you find something out there, fact finder you want to start utilizing with all your clients, shoot that over to your marketer. Let them know that you'd like the creative team to help brand it for you, and we can get that done for you as well. So a lot of great stuff. One other thing that is on our website is our EAP solutions. The ladies on the line from SILAC would tell you as well that Firelight is the new thing, and it'll help process your business, I would say, 3 to 5 business days faster than doing a paper application. A lot of the carriers now have suitability checks built into their Firelight applications, so it's almost an instant decision once it's submitted to the home office. So under EAP solutions, though, you can do both Firelight, IGO, EAP for the life insurance, and we've got Connect for Medicare as well. If I fast forward here, you can see on the screen, pretty much all the carriers are on Firelight. There may be exceptional 1 or 2 smaller companies that are not on there, but majority of the carriers who you're writing can be done on our website. What also is nice, if you're like me, I hate remembering passwords. I'm horrible at it. So with doing it through our website, you use one single sign-on and you can access any of these carriers through Firelight. So you remember one password to IAMS website, and you can write with any of the carriers. So makes it really easy. The other nice thing is it then does come to our office for what I call a high-level review, quick review. Now the application has been signed, so there can not be any corrections made. But if we see that you fat fingered a number on suitability or something doesn't quite make your math doesn't quite make sense, we can let you know that prior to getting it submitted to the home office, so you can go in and copy that app, make the changes you need, and get it resent for signature. So it does help having it come through the office. Plus, it lets us know that you're submitting business so we can follow up on it as well. I did mention our creative team. If you haven't worked with Jacob and his team, they do a phenomenal job for both IAMS Wealth Management, but then also for all of our advisors in the field. Anywhere from making you a logo, business card design. Maybe you're looking to do a Facebook marketing ad. Maybe you're in the Medicare business and you want to start slowly dripping on those clients in regards to other services you have. Maybe you need a website. We can handle all that here in-house. I don't ever say, people always ask about the cost. Well, if you're consistently writing business with IAMS, you're writing business here then you have access to our creative department. So I encourage you to consider utilizing them. Like I said, anything you pull from the website in that sales resource library. We just sent out our CD replacement kit. There's a lot of client facing material in there. If you want any of that branded, those are things that we can do here in house. So encourage you to utilize them as well. One thing I will mention, if you want to write it down, they do have a website where you can submit requests as well. It's IAMScreative.com. So just IAMScreative.com. You can see a lot of different sample websites, different things we've done for other agents. So I encourage you to check that out. We do have a sister company, IAMS Wealth Management. Was it 6 years ago now, 5 years ago now, when the DOL was just looming and we didn't know what direction things were going to go. Charles and Steve said it was time. So we did create IAMS Wealth Management. So we do have an RIA just down the street from us, our sister company. So Charles Jr. and his team do a great job. I'm going to talk about this for just a second, as there's really two parts to our IAMS Wealth Management team. We've got our, advisors who are 65 registered. If you're 65 registered, 66, want to get lined up with us, that's fully capable. But then we also, for those agents who maybe you're toward the end of your career, not looking to get your license, or you just don't want to have to study for the exam, we do have a client portion as well. So Zach Grieg heads that up. And what you can do is if you're in a household, I always use this example, you're in a household and they've got 500,000. We know that SILAC's only going to be able to take maybe 300, maybe 350 of that, right? So what are you going to do with the other 150, 200,000 that's sitting on the table? Can't put it in an annuity because we can't have all of our money in annuities. You're just leaving that on the table for potentially another financial advisor to pick up and potentially steal your client. So what we've done is we've got this client portion as well. So if maybe you're studying for your exam, you don't want to take your exam, but you want to know that the money's in-house, not going to be taken, potentially client stolen from you, you can refer those over to Zach. What he'll do is he'll set up a conference call with you and the client. You'll handle the annuity portion. He'll handle the security portion. You know that the money's in good hands. We're taking care of the client on all aspects, and that client won't be stolen from you. If you're one of those people who maybe are studying for your exam and you're referring clients over to Zach, once you pass your exam, we will get all those clients transferred directly over to you. So nice way to kind of build up the AUM under Zach. Let him handle your clients on that front until you get Series 65 licensed, and then we can get those all transferred over to you. So I think it's really good value that we offer to the agents. And so if you are interested in potentially talking with our wealth management team on either side, if you just want to go ahead and answer yes to the poll question, that'll let me know to have Duncan or Zach give you a call following the presentation today or tomorrow. All it is going to generate a phone call, and they can get you out some information as far as how those programs work. So if you guys can answer that, then we can get moving. All righty, we're going to close that one. I'm almost done, I promise. Two things left. One thing is our Life and Annuity Academies. We're super excited. We're doing 6 of these this year. We're just about to head out for our first one next week up in Des Moines, and that one has been filled, but really excited to be partnering actually with SILAC on our next one, June 7th, 8th, and 9th. It's actually going to be held here in our home office in Omaha. So super excited to have agents out here, see the office, meet all the people you talk to every day. Super excited to partner with SILAC on this one. These are not Annuities 101. It's not Life Insurance 101. These are going to be in-depth sales concept techniques. How can we help you grow your business? So we're really looking for agents who are ready to invest in their business, maybe do some new marketing, take on new ideas. We're going to have some of our top producers here sharing exactly what they did from being a $2 million producer to a $6 million producer. So you're going to hear from other advisors out in the industry. And I think there's a lot of value in that. Talking to someone who's doing exactly what you're doing every day. And not only that, but you're also rubbing elbows talking to 30 other people who are here for the event who are doing the exact same thing too. So we're really excited. We've got that one scheduled for June. I know this summer we've got a couple IUL ones scheduled, and then we'll have another 1 or 2 in the fall. So keep an eye on your email. I do also let people know these are for people who are contracted with IAMS and doing business with IAMS. You know, these carriers have a say so in who comes into these meetings as well. So we want to bring people who are producing with these people as well. So if you haven't been producing with IAMS, give your marketer a call. Let's see what we can do to drum up some business so we can get you into one of these meetings. So if you are potentially interested in joining for one of these, if you just answer yes, what we'll do is we'll send a registration link out to you. This is like a pre-registration link letting us know that you are interested in coming to one. And then your marketer will follow up with you to make sure we've got you contracted with the appropriate carrier and talk with you about the next steps. So if you guys could get that question answered for me real quick, we got one last thing to talk about and we'll hand it over to Carrie. Alrighty. And last but not least, who doesn't like trips? I love trips. So IAMS is really excited. We've got our Seaside Sanctuary that qualification's going for right now. Qualification is $4.5 million. Started July 1st of last year, and we've got all the way through December to qualify. So plenty of time. We're going to be going out to Kiowa Island out in South Carolina. Nice golf resort, lots of pools, spa, all expenses covered for you and a guest. So if you've ever been on an IAMS trip, I can tell you probably have never missed one since. They're an awesome event. It's great to just let loose, have fun. Got a lot of carriers that join us there on those as well. Some of the marketing people and such from carriers. You got our whole executive team that's out there, several people from our office. It's just a nice, relaxing time. Play golf, go to the spa, enjoy time away from the office, and really be part of the IAMS family. It's really a family here, and we'd love for you to be part of it. So if you're curious where you stand for qualification, give your marketer a call. Pretty much anyone who answers the phone should be able to tell you where they stand. We've all got it on our desk. So super excited about it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me as well on that. With that, I am going to hand it over. Again, I mentioned we've got Carrie Freeburg, Senior VP over at SILAC, Head of Product Development and Marketing. So with that, Carrie, I'm going to hand it on over to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Laura. All right. Are we?
I see
my screen. Is it the silent? I don't know if it's the right screen, actually. Hold on.
It's the wrong screen, I would say.
Okay. All right. Hold on a second. There we go. How does that one look?
Much better.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I think you were looking at filing information in the compact, which is, I know, very, very exciting for everyone. So first of all, thank you so much for having us on today. I get really excited whenever I get to talk about this topic because I know really one of the main goals that we have as an insurance company is to credit interest for everyone. And with 2022 being the year that it was, I know that we're all very anxious to get back to that. So today we're going to dig into how the different indexes at SILAC have performed or are performing, and then also try to look forward just a little bit to try to see when we think that interest crediting is going to turn around. And the big thing here is we're going to get into the whys a little bit so that you can kind of understand. We're not going to get into crazy details, but really want you guys to walk away and understand why the different indexes perform the way that they do, and also see some of the differences between them. Because hey, if there was a golden goose index out there, we just have one index that we offered at the end of the day. But newsflash, there's not. They all perform a little bit different, and that's why we have different indexes. So we'll just get into that. All right, let me start going through. So we'll look at current index performance. We'll also look at what we kind of refer to at SILAC as our secret sauce. We'll talk about our pricing, and we're actually going to look at renewal rates as well. So let's dig in. So we're going to look at the S&P, Ravenpack, and Atlas, and then NASDAQ Generations 5. So let's start with the S&P. So US equities have been looking good over the last 6 to 7 months. We've been in kind of a moderate volatility environment, so that's been working really well. If we look year over year through last week, the S&P was down almost 7%. Now, we're kind of tracking things back to last September because that's when we released our latest index with NASDAQ. So the S&P is up 9.4% since that index released. And if we look year to date for 2023, S&P looks fantastic. It's currently about 8% up. So here's how the S&P has looked since January of 2022. This white line here is just kind of drawing a line at where the current S&P level is. And anywhere below that line, if we assume that the S&P stays right where it is, that means that we have the potential for some positive credits coming up. I'm actually really excited because you see that there's some blue below that white line, even in May. And what we're actually seeing is on our reallocation letters that we send out 1 month before anniversaries, we've added the 11-month crediting strategy performance and index performance to those. And we're actually seeing positive numbers there. So we could have some positive crediting coming up here in the next couple of weeks. Now, I will say it's going to be choppy, okay? There's going to be some periods of time where it could be like this week you get some annual statements and you see positive credits, and then next week you don't, because as you see here, the market has been choppy and you still see little periods of time where the blue is above this line. And also keep in mind, everything we're showing here assumes that everything stays level where it is today, which we know won't happen. Hopefully it continues to go up, but it can go down a bit, come back up, etc. So you're really just gonna have to pay attention to statements over the next several months and just understand if 1 week you have something positive and the next week you have a zero, it's not that somebody made a mistake, that's just literally how choppy the crediting is going to be for a period of time. But as we move into the fall, unless there's some sort of market correction, we should be seeing consistent positive interest credit. Can't promise it. Again, that assumes that there is not some sort of correction that comes. I stopped trying to predict these things a long time ago, but things are moving in the right direction, at least from what we see right now. All right, let's move on to Atlas. So Atlas is currently in these components, is how it doesn't have to allocate to all of its components. Right now, for the first time actually in quite some time, a little bit is in NASDAQ. It's allocated to Europe equities, German equities, Japan equities, and then all of the shorter bonds really right now, except for the Japanese 10-year. Now, I know last year bond performance put a drag on really all of the custom indexes that had bonds in them. It was a negative for last year. One thing I want to say though is that doesn't mean that having bonds in custom indexes is a bad thing. It doesn't mean that it's just not black and white. There's times that bond performance is very helpful, and so far in 2023 that's the case. Here we see that US 5-year bonds year to date are up over 1%. European bonds are flat. Actually, as of last week, they were down just a little bit. And then Japanese bonds are up 1.6. So all of that performance then for indexes that are in bonds is helping that index with its performance. So right now, what we're seeing in a lot of all control indexes is that the equity component is up, and also the fixed income, the bond component is up as well. So, again, don't fall into that trap of thinking bonds are bad. What we really want to do is understand how the indexes work. If an index can be smart and get in and out of bonds, that's fantastic. That also begs the question though, is it going to do that at the right time? And just know there's going to be some years that some of these components work really well, other years where they don't. And what we do is we hope when we have a 0 year that index works well to participate in the recovery of that index. So right now, this is looking good for Atlas. Atlas is currently 24% in the equity components and 76% in bonds. Again, the bond performance is helpful right now. So Atlas year over year down just about 5%. Since the NASDAQ release, up 166, and year to date up 387. It's actually one of the top performing indexes so far in 2023. Here's how its performance has looked. Again, here's the white line kind of showing the current level, and then everything below shows that potential for positive crediting. So here we're looking at, maybe having some, like here you see, oh gosh, in May, June, we may see some positive crediting unless the Atlas index goes up some more. One thing to keep in mind though, is we have those nifty strategies on our vol control annual point to point with boost on some of our products. And when you think about if anyone's allocated to boost, you actually could see interest crediting happening a little bit earlier, some more consistent crediting coming out of the boost strategy But at this point, with where the Atlas close value is right now, we're looking for consistent positive crediting starting this fall. Moving on to Ravenpack. So Ravenpack, the 4 sectors of the US economy it's currently in: consumer staples, financial, healthcare, industrials. You see those breakdowns. Those breakdowns can change on a daily basis, but the 4 sectors it's in changes on a quarter. I'm sorry, I may have said that backwards. These allocations can change daily, but the 4 sectors are picked each quarter. Here it is 47% in 10-year bonds and 23% in cash. Right now, the cash is actually a bad thing for the Ravenpack index, as US 10-year bonds are up 2%. We'd actually like to even have a little bit more in it. That would help with Ravenpack performance. Ravenpack actually it's been starting to come back up and starting to get more of that recovery going, which I'm super excited about. Its current allocation is getting more into equities, which is great, 29%, 71% really in the bonds and cash. And here we see year over year down about 5.5%. It just flipped to positive since NASDAQ has been released, and it just flipped to positive for year to date. So we'll continue tracking that, and we hope that it continues to move up. Here's that performance again. It's Ravenpack right now is the one that is just kind of starting to get its levels back up. So here again, we see some crediting occurring this fall. Again, Boost will have more consistent crediting earlier on, but this will continue to change. We'll continue to monitor it. Then we've got NASDAQ. So NASDAQ right now, 20% is in the NASDAQ 100, almost 9% in NASDAQ Next Gen. Its stop loss is still activated. It's still not, and most of it is in cash right now. Now here, even though it's in cash right now, the equity performance has been so strong that NASDAQ Generations 5 performance looks really good right now. The NASDAQ 100 is up over 20% this year, and NASDAQ Next Gen is up over 6%. So when you put that together, again, we're about 70-30 equities and cash. NASDAQ year over year is actually flat. It's just about ready to turn positive. Since it was released, it's up 3.82%, and year to date, it's up 3.7%. So that performance, that tech performance looks very, very strong. Look at this. So really pretty quickly, if we had released the NASDAQ Generations 5 a little bit earlier, we'd be doing positive crediting here pretty darn soon. That being said, we released it in September. We're looking to have some good crediting coming in. We're going to continue to track this. We always really track very, very closely those first credits we have of any index. So, but right now we would be looking at having positive crediting upon that first anniversary. So if we bring it all together, here's how the different indexes look over the different periods of times that we just discussed. So NASDAQ actually has the best year over year performance right now. And again, we've got the boost on it. So if we had been live with it, we'd already be doing positive crediting there. Since NASDAQ was released, S&P has the top performance, NASDAQ second, and then year to date, again, S&P has top performance, and then Atlas and NASDAQ are both pretty darn close as far as year to date goes. But that isn't the only part of it. Obviously, all insurance companies are working really hard at trying to identify compelling, interesting indexes that work well in various economic environments, but it's not just about the index. And what we kind of talk about here at SILAC is that the secret sauce is really having a good index paired with a great budget, option budget at the end of the day. I mean, you could have the best index in the world, but if we have a really low option budget and you have like a 20% participation rate on it, gosh darn it, it just isn't going to lead to great credits. That index has to work so hard to get great credits for your policyholder. If we have an okay index paired with a fantastic option budget, that can lead to some fantastic crediting. And then if there's a way that we can have fantastic index performance paired with a great option budget, that's where we get home runs at the end of the day. So it's not just about the index. It's really about what's the index, what's that budget that the insurance company is using, and what does that turn into as far as a par rate goes. Because at the end of the day, if we have a vol control index that goes up 4% for the year, but we have a 300% par rate like we have at SILAC, that means that index only has to go up 4 for your policyholder to get 12% credit. But the S&P, if it has to go up, if it goes up 10 and has a really good year, but you have a 30% par rate on that, you're getting a 3% credit. So that's where it's kind of getting that right balance between that index performance, the budget, and what par rate you can get for it at the end of the day. So let's take a look at this. So here's the same indexes we've looked at. Again, kind of going back to since NASDAQ was released. So this is what we looked at, how the indexes have performed. It's about half the year. If we annualize that, S&P's on pace to be 17% up when we get to September. And we've got 55% par rate. So that would lead to a 959 credit. Great credit. I think people will be excited about that coming off 2022. Now, Atlas at this point is on pace to be up 3% when we get to September. But you get 275% of that, which gets us to a little over 8%. Again, great credit. Raven Pack, again, flat right now, just started to turn positive. So here, we're looking at being a little bit positive, small credit there. And then look at NASDAQ. It's on pace to be at about 693 come September. We get 280% of that, 19% credit. There's that home run that we're trying to find. So again, it's not that it's one or the other. It's not that one of these is better than the other. All of our indexes hopefully will perform a little bit different in each economic environment. We set them all up for success here at SILAC. We use the same budget for all of them. So every year they're set up for success. It's just a question of how does that underlying index perform and what credit does it lead to? And that's one of the reasons why we really, really believe in diversification between the different indexes and strategies, because they're all going to have their moment to shine. This isn't a one, put all your eggs in one basket kind of situation. All right, so then we have our boost. We have big boosts right now. And so just to remind everyone, if you haven't looked at this strategy, what boost does is it looks at the annual performance of the index and it adds the boost to it. So for Atlas, it's on pace to be up 299. We literally take that 299, we add 6 1/4 to it, and that leads to a 9.24% projected interest credit come September. Raven Pack, here's an index that at this point looks very, very flat come September. I'm hoping it gets more performance, but that's just kind of how the calculations work today. Well, we add 6.5% of that, and here you take a very modest index performance and turn it into almost a 7% interest credit for the policyholder. Again, NASDAQ, great equity performance here of 693. You add 6 1/4 to it, double-digit credit right there of 1318. So definitely take a look at those. Again, there's some years we're in a point-to-point par rate on these indexes. It looks fantastic. There's other years, especially boost really comes into play when and the underlying index has slightly negative or like just kind of modest growth. That's where that boost actually could outperform the par rate in some of those situations. Okay, so we're going to spend a second and talk about something we're pretty transparent about here at SILAC, which is our level option budget pricing philosophy and what that means for renewal rates, because now we have 4 years worth of renewal rates and we're very, very proud of our history and our commitment there. So when we say that SILAC uses level budget, we mean that for all of our FIAs. It doesn't matter if we're talking about Teton, Denali, or Vega. And simply what it means is when we price the product, we have something called the option budget. It is the engine of that product. It's actually one of the most important components, especially when we talk about an accumulation focused product. And we use that same budget every year, not just for the first 2 or 3, not just for the 7, 10, or 14-year period of time, every year in our model. Now, that's great because what your option budget is really the biggest bogey for what it buys you. So what kind of cap, what kind of par rate it's going to buy you. So the fact that ours stays level is fantastic. But that doesn't mean that it's a level adjustment. Level budget does not equate to level adjustment. So we're spending the same every year, but the question is, what does that buy us? And what it buys us, it depends on some option pricing stuff. We're gonna get technical here for just a moment and then come back out. There's 3 main things that determine what that option budget can buy. how much cap, how much par rate. First of all, what is the budget? Okay, obviously bigger budget can buy more, right? Second is volatility. All of our crediting strategies, except for vol control, move a little bit different depending on the volatility level. And then the third thing, which is the more minor thing, but it does impact it, is short-term interest rates. We'll get that one out of the way real quick. If short rates rise, all option costs increase. And this goes for S&P. It also goes for vol control. What happened in 22? Interest rates rose. That actually meant that all option costs increased a little bit in 2022. Then as far as the magnitude, might not be a big deal, but it could be enough to where, it puts some pressure on some rates. If short-term rates fall, all option costs get a little bit cheaper, and that is what has happened so far in 2023. Now, volatility is kind of the big one, and its impact varies by what strategy we're talking about. First of all, fixed rate, we're not buying an option. Doesn't matter what's happening with volatility, not sensitive. This is where, since we do level option budget pricing, a good indicator of our option budget is looking at our fixed rate, and a very reasonable expectation is for that fixed rate to remain level. In fact, we have kept all fixed rates and all option budgets level for every single policy so far in our history. And if there's ever a reason why we couldn't, that's the kind of thing that we'd be very transparent about, and we would make sure to let you guys know what happened. It was some sort of very uncommon event that occurred in the investment market, and that it would be something like that, and we would explain to you why. Then we got S&P annual point-to-point cap. It's less sensitive to volatility, but it can move a little bit. And what we'll see in our renewal rates is it can lead to annual point-to-point caps going up 25-ish or so, or down 25-ish or so basis points, depending on volatility movements. We got S&P par rate, super sensitive to volatility. Volatility goes up, par rate goes down. That's simple. S&P monthly cap, very sensitive to volatility, but here's what's interesting. If vol goes up, your cap goes up. This is why we really like having monthly cap as an option on our rate sheet, because it provides you some diversification. Where volatility spikes, man, a lot of our strategies, par rate strategies will look worse in that situation, but here we'll have monthly cap that looks better, okay? Then we got monthly average par rate, super sensitive, actually most sensitive to volatility, and again, if vol goes up, the par rate comes down. Then we got vol control. I don't care if we're talking about Atlas, Ravenpack, NASDAQ, vol control is guaranteed. That's part of the index development with that bank or with that partner that the insurance company works with, and that partner is taking care of the volatility. So that's why, to manage that volatility and stick with the 5% vol target or whatever it may be, that's where you see movements going between the equity and the fixed income side. And that's so that the bank is controlling that volatility. The wonderful thing about that for all of us is that's on the bank, and we don't see our par rates, our spreads, boosts changing because of volatility changes. So that's where volatility can go up or down, but we have consistency as far as rates goes with vol control indexes. And when you pair vol control with level option budget, you just have very, very, very level adjustments. So as I said, short rate movements can impact this option pricing, but it's at a much less of a degree of sensitivity than what we have with volatility changes for S&P par rate strategies. So another thing that we're pretty transparent about here is why? Like, we talk about our level option budget pricing, and one of the questions we get a lot is, well, why are you guys able to do it? So just to kind of unpack it for a minute, there's kind of two main camps: new money or portfolio pricing. Now, don't get me wrong, there's variations in between where people use components of both. New money pricing is what we do. And what it is that policies are issued every Wednesday. And the rates in those policies are supported by yields that can be purchased now, if you will. So how I picture this is each issue date, we issue all those policies. They're essentially on a little SILAC island with a wall around them. And as rates move up and down in the future, they're protected from that uncertainty because they have their assets supporting those liabilities walled off. Because we do this, this is why we can do level option budget pricing, because we have those walled off, and as rates move up and down, for the most part, it doesn't impact, those islands that we have out there. Portfolio pricing is where companies the liabilities are backed by all of the assets that the company has ever purchased. And this is where they're really looking at, okay, what is our portfolio earning today? Now, in that portfolio, there can be assets that were purchased 10 years ago, assets purchased yesterday, a whole combination of them. Well, because you have new assets coming on and old assets falling off, that portfolio yield can change. It can move up. It can also move down. And when you do portfolio pricing, it doesn't mean you can't do level option budget, but it can be challenging at times. And if that portfolio yield is declining, the company can be put in a position where they're like, dang it, our yield has come down. Do we maintain these option budgets, or do we as a company need to choose to maintain our spread? And so that's where level option budget pricing can be challenging. Now, if rates go up, it can also be helpful because all of a sudden they actually have a little bit more yield to work with. So there's pros and cons to both, but we do new money, and that really sets us up for success to be able to implement level option budget pricing. Now, again, let's unpack what does that mean in a moving rate environment like we've had. So if interest rates rise, which is what happened last year, right? Again, our policies already issued are on an island. No changes, even though today assets are earning more, those assets were already purchased. There's no changes to those yields on those assets, and our option budgets haven't changed. So our renewal adjustments aren't changing because yields have changed. They're changing because of what's going on with volatility and then those short rates. That's part of that calculation. So this is a situation that we're in today, actually, where rates on new policies being issued can be higher than what's already in force. And we can't really apply we can't really increase those rates because we don't have the assets supporting them. They were already purchased 3 years ago, and nothing's changed with them. And then we have the flip side. Well, what if we're in a falling rate environment? Guess what? We've been in this situation too since SILAC's been doing annuities. So again, if interest rates fall, this is great news. Again, those policies already issued, they're on an island. The falling rate environment doesn't impact them. We're able to maintain our option budgets for those policies. And again, renewal adjustments will change, but it's based off of volatility changes, not due to yield and option budget changes. So in this environment, the rates on new policies being issued would be lower than what we might see on policies that have already been issued in the past. So again, if we looked at, portfolio pricing here and rising and falling rate environments, there's times that there's positives there and then there's challenges there. So, all of these are a little bit complicated, but hopefully that helps explain why sometimes you might get renewals and say, gosh, those renewals are fantastic, and wonder, why doesn't the current rate sheet match? Or like today, we have the flip side. We're like, man, those renewals, I mean, they're consistent with where that policy started, but they're not, comparable to the rate sheet today. And that's why. Okay, so let's take a look at these renewals. So first of all, hopefully you guys are aware of all of our product lines, but just in case. So we have 3 FIA lines at SILAC, and a lot of the structures of them are identical. They're all 7, 10, 14. They all have a bonus, non-bonus version. So really which one makes sense depends on what are those policyholder needs. So if you have a policyholder that's focused on clean accumulation and they might have some liquidity needs during the withdrawal charge period, Teton's your girl, okay? Clean accumulation. If you want higher accumulation, fewer liquidity needs during the surrender charge period, and you'd like to have a lifetime income, Denali. If you're focused on accumulating retirement benefits, having enhanced withdrawal benefits, enhanced death benefits, that's where Vega comes into play. It's really our benefit planning product. All 3 of these lines have the same engines, the same accumulation options available to you. We really tried to keep it consistent across all of the lines. So if you want accumulation certainty, you've got your fixed rate. We have fantastic fixed rates today. And again, with level budget, those fixed rates are going to be pretty darn level. Then we've got our US equities, clean S&P 500. If you want to have some exposure to the international markets, Atlas. If you want to stay US based but multi-asset, and then really just focused on the top performing part of the US economy, that's where RavenPack comes in. And this one does the top 4 sectors. So you can think about, it's focused on the US economy. The S&P may go up or down, but typically there's certain aspects of the US economy that are performing well. And this is where the Ravenback Index is trying to allocate to those parts of the US economy. Then we've got our NASDAQ disruptive leaders, the NASDAQ Generations 5. So here's true renewal rates for the very first Teton bonus 14 policy ever issued. Here, it started out with a fixed rate of 3, S&P cap of 6, par rate 50, monthly cap, et cetera. You see, we did not release any vol control indexes when we first came out with Teton. Now, first of all, this year was 2019. We had low volatility this year. And then what came after 2019? The infamous 2020, where volatility skyrocketed. Okay, so here, volatility changed, our budget stayed the same, we kept that fixed rate of 3%. Now, volatility skyrocketed, our annual point-to-point cap came down 25 basis points. That's it, okay? In a volatility spike, came down 25. Par rate's a different story. Par rate went from 50 down to 30, not because our budget changed, because that's how much more expensive that option was. But here's the flip side. You're getting to see exactly what I just said. Volatility skyrocketed, monthly cap went up. We raised that monthly cap beyond what it was in that first year. Monthly average cap, again, came down a little bit because of volatility. Same thing with par rate. And then our spread got worse, it went higher. But we introduced Atlas to enforce policies, and that, you know, had some great par rates and boosts right out of the gate. Move to year 3, we got out of COVID and volatility came down. What happened? We got to bring our S&P cap back up to 6. We're able to increase our par rate. Volatility came down. Monthly cap got a little bit more expensive. We had to bring it down to 250, but still above that year 1 rate. Monthly average cap went back to 7. Monthly average par rate came up to 75. The spread came down. Atlas stayed the same. Ravenback was introduced. Year 4, again, fixed rate stayed the same. What did I say? Short rates went up, which is bad. So S&P cap had to come down a little bit, par rate had to come down a little bit, monthly cap had to come down, etc. But vol control was really able to be maintained or even improve just a little bit. So again, level budget does not equate to level adjustment, but what you do see is you see some flat news level, you see good news, and you see some things had to come down every year, and that's what you should expect out of Teton renewals. But at the end of the day, with the exception of just volatility spikes, etc., our renewals are staying pretty consistent. And again, you have some good news to share. You should have good news to share every year. Same story for Denali Bonus 14. I'm not going to go through all of these details. You guys know we released Denali. Again, this is the very first Denali Bonus 14 policy. We released this one in 2020 when volatility was a little bit higher. So you see we got to do a lot of improvements in the second year. And then again, we've had some improvements that we've been able to pass through on the third year. And again, same story for Vega as well. So again, some level news each year, some good news, and then some things that had to be adjusted due to volatility changes, etc. All right, I'm going to keep going. I know we're getting to time here. Just some reminders. You know, we've had great financial strength. We've had record years. We have a brand new financial strength piece with a lot of good details that IAMS can get to you. We have some really strong MYGA rates right now on a 2, 3, and 5-year chassis. Fantastic rates on Teton, caps as high as 10.5, fixed rates as high as 475. Now, one of the things that Laura had mentioned is there's definitely been interest more in the bonus products paired with the rates. So I just wanted to call out, we actually just finished up a brand new sales piece that Laura and the IAMS team will be able to get to you guys this today, tomorrow. So if we have a 6% bonus on our 7-year, which we do, and a 350 fixed rate, if you allocate, even though we're so excited about indexing, you just say, hey, this year I'm just going to put in that fixed account. Your client's guaranteed with her rates are today for 971 for that first year. Everything we do is 1 year. So then after that, you have all of those accumulation engines and strategies we've talked about available to you. If you're looking at the 10-year, 8% bonus, 375 fixed rate, effectively 1205 year 1. 10 or the 14-year, 10% bonus, 4% fixed rate, 1440 year 1. Looking pretty darn good. Similar story with Denali, even better story. Here, fixed rates can go a little higher, caps as high as 15%, vol control as high as 300% with 7% boost. But again, You can say, all that sounds great, but there's some pretty good potential just taking that bonus on that fixed account. Here we go on the 7-year, 946 effective year 1, 10-year, 1235, 14-year, 15.5% right there. And again, that doesn't mean you're locked into the fixed account forever. Vega. So Vega, again, our benefit planning one, the big thing here is for benefits, we have a 50% benefit bonus, no premium bonus on Vega. And then this year we also were able to increase our lifetime withdrawal percentages on the Vega non-bonus line. This one's a little bit, we won't necessarily put this one in a piece, but if you allocate to the fixed account, you get a 50% bonus, you get a 225 rate on the 7-year. We enhance that for benefit purposes, 150%. Your effective first year credit for the benefit account only on Vega 7, Vega bonus 7 be a little over 55%. And that kind of holds true for each version of Vega bonus. So all Vega bonus has a 50% bonus. What changes is what is that fixed rate and then what is the multiplier that goes with it. And then the last thing that I know IAMS has shared with you guys is we have a brand new awesome Inner Circle program this year. It has a bonus program associated with it. It has highly curated swag that's individualized to you. It has an elevated service experience, and you have the opportunity to come in and with IAMS and come to our home office. We'll spoil you there, maybe take you up to Park City. If it's basketball season, take you a jazz game, something like that, and get to really know the SILAC team. And then last thing is we have our incentive trip. So you have a great incentive trip with IAMS, and then also you can come with us to Europe and do a Danube River cruise. It will be lovely. We start in Germany, we go through Austria, we end up in Budapest. Qualification period's going on now through the end of the year, and we will be sailing in summer of 2024. And again, IAMS can get you all of those details. There you go, Laura. We got it done. So,
yes, we did it. Yeah, so the only one question, and I know you probably get asked this a lot, but I've got some New Jersey people on the line. Do you want to touch just briefly on why and when we can actually file in New Jersey?
Yeah. So we're actually getting close, I think. So New
Yes.
Jersey is actually because when there is an ownership change at a company, they have you wait 5 years before you can get your certificate of authority in New Jersey. Well, I think that happens this year now. So we can actually start the filing process there, but keep in mind, it's going to take time. It's not just, okay, go ahead and file the products. It's actually going through and filing our authority to get approved to do business in the state of New Jersey, and then we file the products at that point. I think New Jersey, for the most part, though, is compact. So once that occurs, then we would essentially just turn on the compact products there. So, or I can't give a more specific timeline. I just know that we can at least get the process started here, I think towards the end of 2023. And then hopefully we'll be able to come out with products sometime in 2024, but we'll just see how it goes. Not all of that timing is up to us necessarily.
Nope, I understand that. Yeah, excited for the 5 years to be up. Other than that, I don't think we had any questions. I mean, one thing I'm going to throw out there, if you're not currently contracted with SILAC, I'm going to launch a question. If you do want to get contracted with SILAC, just go ahead and answer yes to that question. If you're not already contracted, I'll have my assistant put in the request to get you appointed. For those of you in New Jersey, they are approved in surrounding states, so we can do business in Pennsylvania and some of those other states that you guys may be working in as well. But if you do request that, I will make sure. One other thing, Carrie, before we go there, just asking about the rating, you want to just touch real quickly on how AM Best reaffirmed that for you guys at the end of last year?
Yeah, appreciate that. So so we were B+. Well, we've been B+ for a while, and then last year, as we were going through a capital raise that ended up crossing calendar years, AM Best did B+ under review while we finished up that capital raise. We were very excited that we did finish up the capital raise towards the end of 2022, and as AM Best finished up their annual review of us, they reaffirmed that B+. We're very excited. We had committed to them that we would get our RBC up to a certain percentage. We actually said we'd be at 600% authorized control. We came in at, I think we finished the year at 689, which is on that financial strength piece that I said. So we outperformed what we had committed to them, which was very, very exciting. So we're excited to be reaffirmed and excited to get that capital raise done and have the partner that we have. and which has all of that getting complete has led to the competitive products that you guys got to see today that we have out in the marketplace. So.
Perfect. Well, with that, everyone, you will be getting a copy of the recording of the webinar today. It'll be coming out later today or tomorrow from one of my assistants. They'll also include some of those marketing pieces that Carrie touched on, as well as just kind of a rate sheet and some of the highlights from the webinar today. So be watching from that. It should be coming from either Alex or Hunter in my office, but we will get that sent out to you. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach me at the office. Carrie, Molly, I appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to join us. And I hope everyone has a great Thursday.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a great day.